What's up, y'all? You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
In this sweet madness, all this glorious sadness that brings me to my knees in the arms of the angel, fly away from here.
Savage.
We're back, people. One Piece 1063 Peak Fiction returns. Okay, I'm feeling fueled by the passion on the page. Wow. Short chapter. Felt like a Marineford chapter for anybody who was weekly, you know, the pain of that. It just, all of the double page spreads, like, it just went by. And then I get to the end and I'm like, that's it? Can I have 2 to 4 more pages, Oda, please? Please? Don't just give me all of this and then move on. Oh my god. Most of this video is going to be about the second half of the chapter. I'm just going to bang out the first part. This is fun. We've got Robo-Pops, Robocop, Robo-Daddy.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
We're basically taking Kuma. He's looking like a cross between a T-800 and the T-1000 because he's got a cop outfit. We've got some new drip. He's certified. My man Luffy finally has ditched the chanclas. My man is finally wearing shoes. Oh man, how long did that take? Thank you, Oda. Thank you for giving my boy some shoes, even if they are platforms from the 1970s. Out here looking like Disco Stew from The Simpsons. All he's missing are those goldfish.
Your fish are dead.
Yeah, I know. I can't get them out of there.
Bonnie's got a new outfit. I'm just excited to see what these colors are. Atlas just moves on like, hey, I gotta go, my planet needs me. Photonic Gloves goes and punches a hologram dinosaur. So it's like, all right, like this is the time we're on here. But they're pirates. They're thieves. They have now stolen the clothes. I need all of the other Straw Hats to go through this machine, though. I need to see what Sanji's drip will be, Frankie's drip, Zoro's. Like, I need everybody to get on this futuristic wave. Oda, do not disappoint here. Definitely expecting in 1064 to see the other half of the crew landing on Egghead, having been transported by Lilith's giant machine at this point. We've got a lot of dinosaurs around, and Jinbei is definitely giving me Nedry vibes from Jurassic Park. You didn't say the magic word. He's got the Hawaiian shirt on, or maybe he's just channeling Tommy Vercetti from Vice City. I don't know. Either way, full dad mode. Speaking of dad mode, Bonnie is going through it. Now, we can actually recontextualize a lot of the scenes that we saw from Bonnie in the pre-time skip. We saw Bonnie a couple of times, and I went back through all of Marineford to find these panels, okay? You have Bonnie crying at the sight of everything, basically 2 to 3 chapters after the pacifistas are kind of taking over and doing their thing and shooting lasers all over the place. It's obscured enough to where you don't necessarily know exactly what's happening because the scene isn't directly after the chapter with all of the pacifistas, but, you know, it's close enough now that we're looking at it. And then at the end of Marineford, Bonnie makes a declaration that she is going to go and find him in the New World. Him being Vegapunk. Wow. Oda, Goda, always foreshadowing, always with the future sight, always with the planning. And quick sidebar, the little flashback that we get of Bonnie and Kuma, I'm expecting, you know, more development there, obviously, but Kuma actually kind of resembles Cobra in a weird way. Could they be like cousins to the Alabasta Kingdom? Could Kuma and Bonnie be part of the 20 Kings? I don't know, but I'm excited for whatever lore we do eventually get with all of that. In the meantime, let's get into the real heat of this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Let's go. All right, people, the moment you've been waiting for. The moment that I have been waiting for. We are talking about, we're getting a little bit of agenda. And what's one of the agendas? Law is in Sword. He has a connection to Koby via the Rocky Port incident, which is my main reasoning for Law being in Sword, aside from the fact that all characters in One Piece, basically all of them, take after their adoptive father. So Luffy takes after Shanks, a pirate, rather than his father, who is a revolutionary, rather than Garp, who is a marine. Those father figures don't matter. Sanji is not a warmonger or anything like Judge. He is a chef like Zeph. Chopper took after his adoptive father, Hiraluk. Ace took after Whitebeard instead of Roger and decided he just wasn't going to wear shirts anymore. You know, like, there's just so much. I could really, like, just create an entire list, even though, you know, that was it. So Law takes after Corazon, his adoptive father. This guy was a secret marine. I want Law to be two-timing everything here. This is why his crew is full of fodder, because they're all just base marines with like a level 10 Doriki. Shachi, Penguin, out of here. Beppo, out of here. The girl, out of here. The guy with the mask, out of here. Jean Bart, you're the only one that's cool. That's my guy. He is the only person that is really going to be putting some numbers up with Law in this battle. You cannot tell me otherwise, all right? Unless the moon is out, but even then I feel like Beppo would not be able to contain himself like Peckham's. He would just go off on his own. He would probably attack his own people. That's where I'm at with Beppo. And the Beppo slander will not stop until Beppo does something cool. So I assume many believe that Ivankov was in the chapter doing something or whatever, because, you know, we had Law and his crew turning into swapping gender, and they gave Beppo carrot hair, which is funny. But then Law just like wills himself into becoming a man again. He's counteracts Doc Q's sick fruit with his own hockey, his own will, his ambition. He's just like, nah, enough of this game. Now, that's just wild. Okay, this whole thing is wild. The fact that we got these fruits is wild. And analysis time, shout out to Blackbeard being with the original people that he was with when we were introduced to Blackbeard. I'm talking Jaya. It was Blackbeard, Jesus Burgess, Van Augur, Doc Q, and Stronger. Lafitte was not there. Where is Lafitte? He is in Chocolate Town. I've been saying this since 1046. If the Blackbeard pirates were actually there, Lafitte was one of them. I was not expecting Kuzan to be there, but I have never moved away from one of these people being Lafitte. And now with Pudding being captured, and I don't normally talk about the cover stories, but this is actually tying into everything right now, is that Lafitte can hypnotize. So that's one way to get Pudding out of there. So they didn't care necessarily about the poneglyphs because Blackbeard's already got this whole plan. He's about to steal them from Law. But how is he going to read them? He doesn't have anybody that can read them. But if he steals Pudding and forces Pudding to awaken, which was brought up by Jonathan R.K. in the chat, that you can awaken your third eye through meditation or through hypnosis. And it just so happens that Blackbeard happens to have someone on his team, Lafitte, who can do hypnosis. And just like in Jaya, Lafitte was not present for any of the real-time events. Lafitte was off doing another thing. Lafitte is Blackbeard's Sanji, the guy that moves in the background, Mr. Prince style, and gets things done. Lafitte hypnotized the Marines to open the Gates of Justice during Marineford, which also allowed Luffy and the gang to get through the doors as well. They benefited from the luck. Fate, luck, all of these things apply to the Blackbeard pirates. Heavy. I want Lafitte to be Sanji's opponent. I know there's a lot of people who say Avalo Pizarro and, maybe Vasco Shot and everything like that. People want Brook to fight Lafitte. I want Sanji to fight Lafitte. Seriously, that's what I want. So it makes sense for Lafitte, who was the guy who went to Marijoa during Jaya to tell the, Sengoku and everybody else, hey, you should make Blackbeard a warlord. He was the guy moving Blackbeard's plans in the background. So here, it would make sense if Lafitte is the guy that is moving the plans along during the cover story with Kuzan and getting Pudding. Throwback also to the 999 stream where a particular user super chatted and said, hey, what if Pudding awakens her fruit instead of her third eye and is able to read the memories of objects. So Pudding would essentially be able to interact with the poneglyphs or the rubbings with the fruit and pull the words that way, which would be very interesting, and I still love that. I've always remembered that from that stream. Some people during the 1063 stream were saying that all of the fruits that we're seeing are pretty generic and on the nose for the Blackbeard pirates, but what you have to realize is that these pirates are going to be the end game pirates for the series. The culmination of everything that the Straw Hats have worked for the entire series, right? So Van Augur having the warp fruit just means that Usopp has to learn and has to advance his observation hockey to the point where he can hit a moving target. That's going to be the difficulty there. Chopper, who's going to fight Doc Q, is going to have to beat an opponent that is constantly hitting them with diseases that Chopper is going to have to cure in order to continue fighting. Everything is going to rely on their personal strengths in this. Now, where does Burgess fall into this? And also shout out to Burgess having like a Mankind Spandam effect now. Sabo messed his face up this much that he had to basically wire his jaw and do this whole thing. He looks raw though. I like it. All right, he's got the buff fruit. The last time we saw Burgess, he did not have a fruit. He was in Dressrosa trying to get the Maramara no Mi for himself, but somewhere along the way, they found the buff fruit, which is very reminiscent of Aruja's fruit, but I think instead of absorbing pain and power the way Aruja's fruit just works, I think that Jesus Burgess just doesn't have that condition. I think he's just like Superman right now. Who is he going to fight? Is he going to be a fodder fight for Luffy? Is he going to be a fight for Jinbei, helmsman versus helmsman? Is Zoro going to take him out because they both like strength? Is Frankie going to fight him because it's champion versus champion? I think that Frankie is actually going to build a giant mech before this arc is over, and he's going to actually fight San Juan Wolf. To go down the lot even more, Nami versus Katarina Devon, and I'd like Robin versus Vasco Shot. Maybe Brook versus Avalo Pizarro? Blackbeard was waiting on this island. Whether it is Hachinosu or not is unconfirmed, but he basically figured that after Wano, one of the three captains, Luffy, Law, and Kid, would be coming to this island. He wasn't sure which one, but he was banking on them having a rubbing of Kaido's poneglyph. And it just so happens that Law also has the poneglyph for Zoe, which may give Blackbeard all of the power he needs. And then once they have Pudding, and she unlocks her third eye, it's game over. Blackbeard is ready to go to Laughtail. No matter what, Law is not winning here. His crew is trash. No one on his team is putting up any numbers. Maybe Jean Bart. This is crazy. But the interesting thing here is that Law can essentially do what most of these people are doing here. He can teleport like Augur. He's a doctor like Doc Q. He can lift mountains and move mountains just like Burgess can, albeit not necessarily a strength feat, as long as it's in his room. So it's kind of interesting, but the thing is here that Blackbeard is after strong fruits. So if for whatever reason Blackbeard doesn't kill Law, I'm going to be looking at Blackbeard like, what are you doing, man? Because like this is your whole MO, right? This is one of the most broken, strongest fruits in the entire series. So I know you want this, but for the story's sake, we need Koby and Law to interact. The Rocky Port boys. You know I get fired up about the Rocky Port. And here, it was implied that Blackbeard had something to do with the Rocky Port incident, but it seemed more likely that he just benefited from the actions. Here, his dialogue saying, hey, Sashiburi de na, Trafalgar Law. It's been a while. They have met, they have interacted. Law was the mastermind of the Rocky Port. But was there a deal with Blackbeard in place so that he could take over Hachinosu? There's a possibility. I will eventually get my Rocky Port video out. I just need the time to work on it. But an interaction between Koby and Law could be the confirmation that I've been waiting for as far as Law is in Sword. And if he's not in Sword, that's fine. Because ultimately I just want Garp to be the leader of it. Law, it would be a great twist if he was. But I just want Garp to be the leader of it. And for Sword to be a secret faction of the Marines trying to take down the world government. Like, that's all I need to fit into the themes of One Piece. But Law is totally losing here. I don't know where he goes from here. Is someone going to come in late game and save them? Who would? Drake? Garp? I mean, I could see Garp pulling up, you know, trying to save Koby. That would be pretty cool, actually. And then we could get an entire Sword reveal there. I'm okay with all this, especially because Sword seems to be very involved in this. We've got Cypherpole Zero, we've got Sword, we've got Vegapunk, we've got Blackbeard now, we've got the crew. Put it all together. I'm ready. Stronger has the Pegasus fruit, which initially I thought meant that Pierre from Skypiea got the axe, that they went to Skypiea and really murdered Gonfal's horse. Not the case, seemingly. Unless Pierre really did have the mythical version of, you know, the horse fruit. But Pierre was a bird that ate the horse fruit, but it seems like it's not the mythical version. The only reason, well, yeah, no, that actually does make sense, because the only reason it was a Pegasus was because it was already a bird. So this is like literally the Pegasus fruit. That's why it makes sense, yeah. Van Augur can not only teleport himself, but he can teleport other people just like Law. He teleports Burgess all the way from the ship to an island, where he then grabs a mountain and throws it at Law. Law uses room and saves his crew, and then in the meantime, Blackbeard shows up. So just to understand the geography of everything that's going on right there. Now, if Van Augur was on the raft and everything when they got to Amazon Lily, that's potentially a really broken way to explain how Blackbeard got through the Calm Belt. Can Van Augur, like, just teleport the entire ship to different parts of the Grand Line? Because that would be, like, insane if he can just move all over the map. Like, we don't know what the parameters of this is. Is it only what he can see? Oh man, we need more information. And my guy's got a beard now. 2 years later, he's got a beard. Things are seriously heating up. This arc is going crazy right now. What do I expect at 1064? Like I said, the rest of the crew landing at Egghead. What do I want? More information on what's going on with this Law and Blackbeard stuff. Now that we have seen Law, it would make sense that eventually we see Kid. I'm thinking on Elbaf. Will he run into Vivi? I don't know. Will he stir up some trouble? Likely. That we'll have to deal with when we get there. That may not happen for a couple of chapters. I do want to see Smoker sometime soon, hopefully with one of the other satellites of Vegapunk, since we know that Vegapunk was over at G14 healing those kids. Right, so we know that Vegapunk is got to be seen there. We didn't see Smoker there. We did see a marine ship going to Egghead Port. The Cypherpole agents would not have been on that. They would have been on a government ship, so that means that there is a marine faction that is going to Egghead. I'm thinking Smoker's on it, which means Smoker would be there by himself without Tashigi, because Tashigi's over at G14, unless she comes later with some of the Sword members. Who knows? A Bonnie Kuma flashback is inevitable. I don't think we're getting it the next chapter, but I mean, there was sort of that lead in. I think we could probably not even see Luffy, Bonnie, and Jinbei at all in 1064 and just focus on like one other faction and the other half of the crew for the entire chapter. I'm okay with that. All in all, this was an insane chapter. Thanks for everybody who came to the stream. Stream this week will be at a different time. I'm thinking probably around 2:30ish. So look out for that. That's just going to be for this week, and then we'll be back to 12:15. Other than that, thanks to everybody that supports the channel. Shout out to Sunil Mister, who rejoined, and to all of our members of the channel. Chrissy and I appreciate you, and I will see everybody real soon. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. I'll catch you later. Bye.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.